Lomachenko dropped Kambosos twice with body shots in round 11 to get the knockout. Kambosos' corner threw in the towel to have the fight halted. The stoppage occurred at 2:49 of round 11.
As if the damage to the eye isn't enough, Loma says, take that to the body, and now he looks to close it.
What's next for Loma? Obviously, there's the championship.
Well, we're going
to,
we don't decide those questions. The night of, there's a lot of possibilities. There's Navarrete fighting for a lightweight title on next Saturday. There's Tank Davis against Frank Martin. Winner of that fight's a possibility. Shakur Stevenson is a possibility. So we'll see. He wants to fight the best, and he wants it to be the most lucrative.
One more time, please. Tank Davis called. Oh, he called up on social media. Well,
that's easy to do, right? Social media, I can call out Mike Tyson.
The question would be asking a pregnant woman who just gave a birth, would you like to have another child?
Yeah, right.
Dominated the fight from start to finish. Did anything about George surprise you? Obviously, you're playing very well for him, but did you do anything different in there that you weren't expecting?
No, I expect a little bit more, but everything he did, we was prepared for this, and I saw this during the fight, and I need to be just adjust during the fight, round by round, and I feel during the fight, I feel that I can finish him.
Here we are again. Obviously, not a plan. We wanted to win this fight. We prepared extraordinary. There's not one bit I can look back and say we did that wrong. As my coach Anton said, clean tail. It was a clean tail, and the way we credit my team, coach, Anton put in a lot of work, a lot of months. We came in for the last few weeks, and my other manager, George Kambosos, behind the scenes, incredible work. My promoter, we developed training. Everything was perfect. And everything was perfect in the first few rounds. We did very good. We stuck to the game plan. And then, fortunately, the fight started to change. About 4 or 5, he did catch the shot back there. So I did the equilibrium. Kind of did buzz me, and started to change things around in the fight. I stepped to the best. Like I said in the ring, I'm old and old school. Saw again as a video awards, and I'm a blood and guts warrior.
What are you reading into all this?
At this point, they, I think it's a little bit of a show too, Can't be mad at it. You can, because you got to hold the phone. So.
George seems very, he's ready to get in there. Vasyl a bit more calm. Is that how you say it?
You know what? And I've seen that it seems that George is a little more calm than he usually is. I'm used to seeing him a little more amped up, but it could be Lomachenko. Vasyl doesn't say much, doesn't really give you a reason to kind of get where he usually is. So could just be the respect. Nonetheless, I think both guys are, they look a lot like they usually look, which is a good sign for us.
Social media said Lomachenko is next. Finally, it looks like he wants to get in the ring with you. Is that a fight that you want to do next? During my boxing career, I never running around, and I always take a fight. And right now, I want to come back to my home, spend the time with my family, and after that, I rest a little bit. We can talk about future. We talked about at age 36. This division is about speed and reaction time.
Before the fight, many boxing pros were split between the two fighters. Many believed that Kambosos' hunger would be too much for an aging Lomachenko to handle, while some thought that even if Loma is not at his peak, he'd still be a major threat for Kambosos. Teddy Atlas called Lomachenko one of the greatest ever in this sport, but also questioned if he could still go on the way he used to because of his growing age.
Lomachenko is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Our time. He's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. He's a 3-division world champion. He solidified all the titles, I believe, in at least one of his weight classes that he was the champ, if not more. But he's a guy that is getting a little longer in the tooth. I want to start with that. I think that this is one of the greatest fighters we've seen in our time, our era, and I think that he's slowing down a little bit. I think that he cannot go out there the way he used to with the motor running at the RPMs that it used to run at.
Danny Green believed that even if Loma is not at his peak, he would still be a big threat for Kambosos. Green said that Loma has proved in his fight against Haney that he could still go against the best, and if Kambosos really wants to beat him, he'd have to bring that hunger on the fight night.
He's got to do everything right. He's got to have the fight of his life on that particular night. So, George has proven it once against Lopez. He can do it again. It's a very difficult fight. Lomachenko's no joke. He's been around a long time. Is he at his peak? No. But half a guy like Lomachenko is still the best in the world. But he's proved against Haney. Lomachenko is still very, very dangerous and just superb. So it's a really difficult fight. But I think George has got a lot of hunger. He's a hungry fighter. So if he can bring that hunger and the best fight of his life on that night, he can win.
Sean Porter believed that this fight favored Lomachenko more because of his precision. He didn't think that Kambosos would go down in Australia, but picked Lomachenko to win by decision. Sean stated, "If I was betting, my money is on Lomachenko by decision because he is just so precise. A sharpshooter with power in both hands. I don't think he gets the stoppage. I don't see George Kambosos getting stopped in Australia. I don't see George getting stopped at all. You know what's in his blood, where he comes from, and what he believes in, his mentally. But respectfully, I think this fight favors Lomachenko 60-40. Sergio Mora believed that Loma would do well against Kambosos, as Kambosos doesn't have much of a size advantage over him like his previous opponents. However, he chose Kambosos to win by decision. Mora stated, "Loma is still a threat. I think he still has enough to win this fight. Loma struggled against a much bigger Teofimo and taller, longer Haney. Still, both fights were very close. Against Kambosos, he won't have that much to overcome physically, but I like Kambosos by close decision. It'll be extremely hard to get a decision down under. Kambosos by decision." Kambosos' last fight against Max Hughes was controversial, as many believed he didn't win that fight. Jeff Fenech was one of them that believed that Kambosos didn't deserve the victory over Max, and said that if he fought like this against Loma, then it wouldn't end well for him this time around. Jeff stated, "But if George thought he beat that guy Matt Hughes in his last fight, these days if you get punched in the head 50,000 times, and you know you lost but you still put your hand up in the air, as if you won the fight, it's embarrassing." Tom Gray also mentioned how Max Hughes outpointed and frustrated the Australian in their fight. He believes that if Max can do that to Kambosos, then Loma is one of the best and can easily outbox him. He stated, "For me, Maxie Hughes comfortably outpointed the Australian brawler last July, and it's down to styles. Hughes is a mobile lefty who can be hard to pin down. Well, if Maxie can frustrate the life out of George, then what can Loma do? Kambosos is a pure warrior, and he's never been stopped, so he'll be hard to discourage. I think Lomachenko wins almost every round on the way to a lopsided decision. He might even score a knockdown or two." Max Hughes, Kambosos' previous opponent who gave him a tough time, believed that Kambosos is not the warrior he thinks he is. Max said that he stiffened up Kambosos' legs during their fight, and an elite fighter like Loma could do much worse. He stated, "I don't give George much chance, unless it goes to points and the judges cook it. Unless Lomachenko, cause by the time the fight comes around, it'll be just under a year since Loma's last fight, with Haney, so he's a little bit older, unless Father Time's caught up with him, which I don't think it will have because I do think he's one of the elite. I think George is gonna get stopped." He goes on about being this Spartan warrior. "I stiffened his legs up so he's not this Greek god that he thinks he is, and Loma will absolutely pepper the life out of him and will stop him. If he doesn't stop him, George probably won't quit, so his corner may have to pull him out." Sports writer Ron Borges also thought that no matter how tough Kambosos is, he'll come up short against a calculated Lomachenko. He stated, "Kambosos is as tough as 20 miles of detours, but toughness alone won't get it done against a skillful fighter as Lomachenko. Maybe Loma is starting to slip a bit, but he won't slip far enough for Kambosos to beat him." Loma by clear decision. The fight was destined to be a boxing clinic. The two fighters even had an intense face-off where none of them were interested to back off. They continued to stare at each other until they were separated. Lomachenko believed that the long stare off between the two was just part of the game, and if Kambosos wanted to play the mind games, then he's ready. Loma said that he is ready for the fight and would do what he does every single time.
This was the first time then I stayed too long on a face-off, but it is what it is. He wants to play, okay, I'm ready.
Do you regret staying as long as you did?
I don't know. I'm tired a little bit staying, seeing his eyes, and but he still see in front of me, and I need to stay too. Okay.
I always like to talk X's and O's when I talk to fighters. We know that that's not the real fight. The weigh-in isn't the real fight. On fight night, what can we expect to see from Lomachenko?
Like always, I start too smart. I start smart on the beginning and do what I do every time. Just boxing and show my best.
Kambosos was humorous when asked about the face-off. He said that he had never looked at his wife like the way he stared at Lomachenko. Kambosos liked the face-off and said that it brought the warrior extinct out of both the fighters. He was also confident as he believed that he would come out victorious on the fight night.
George Kambosos, I've seen a lot of stare downs. That one was very deep. What did you see in his eyes?
It was beautiful, man. I liked it. Like I said, it's a box still. I ain't got shit to do. I ain't got nothing to do, so I could sit here all day and do it, and we'll do it all the way till Sunday. I'm just so focused, so zoned in, and I'm ready. I'm ready for a true fight on Sunday.
He's been facing off for a solid 3 minutes, 4 minutes. What did you see in his eyes?
I haven't looked at my wife like that for forever. I haven't faced off with my wife like that. So, yeah, it was nice, man. I love it. I love the fight game. I love, mixing up and having that warrior instinct. He's a warrior and I'm a warrior. And you can see two guys coming for a good fight. The fans are in for a treat, but don't get it twisted. I'm coming to win this fight. He saw that.
George Kambosos also vowed to retire Lomachenko. Kambosos was super confident in beating Loma and said that his extremely hard training preparation would show on Sunday. He stated, "When I beat Lomachenko, there'll be no more road for him to go. This is retirement for him. I truly believe it. The way I'm sparring, the way I'm firing on every engine, the speed that I have, he's never seen this kind of speed and explosive power. The will, the heart I have, the desire to win this fight. I want this bad. I've prepared extremely hard for this fight. I've left no stone unturned. Sunday, you will see." But Loma was unfazed by these comments as he believed that these are just talks and not anything serious. Loma was excited about the fight and was ready to put on a boxing clinic on Sunday. He stated, "This is what he thinks. It's hard to explain. Why, if it's not happened, how is it going to be? So it's just talk. It's not serious. I heard this not first time. But, for me it's not a surprise, and see what happens Sunday at 12. See you in the ring. Look, I'm too long in this sport, and we are two professionals, and we know boxing, we know strategy of boxing, and it will be very, very interesting for both. It will be very, very interesting for all fans of boxing, and good luck for both." However, Lomachenko's promoter Bob Arum believed that age might catch up to Loma, as he's not the same fighter he used to be 5 years ago. Bob thought that this fight against Kambosos would be a tough one, and Loma had to bring his A game to win over a highly motivated competitor. He stated, "Has Loma slipped a little? Yeah. He's 36 and not that old, but he had a long 400-fight amateur career at the top level. He's probably not as good as he was 5 years ago. George Kambosos is a live dog in the fight. He's a very good fighter and always in shape. It's going to be a tough fight. I love having Loma as part of Top Rank and have great affection for him. He's a tremendous man. everything you want from a fighter. But he's in very tough against Kambosos. That's going to be a very interesting match that I'm looking forward to. I believe Lomachenko is still a great fighter. But Kambosos believed that Loma is a threat despite his age. He said that Lomachenko is an all-time great and deserves all the respect, but all of that would go away once the bell rings. A 100% Lomachenko has a lot left in the tank, but I don't believe he has that dog inside of him anymore. I don't think he wants it as bad as I do right now. You can never overlook a guy like Lomachenko. I'd be the biggest idiot if I were to do that. Lomachenko is an all-time great and a guy we have a lot of respect for. We are preparing for the best version of Lomachenko. Once that bell rings, the respect is out the door and it's time to do the job. George promoter Lou DiBella also said that Kambosos is ready for this fight and has been training very hard to get the win. He thought the Loma was a big challenge for Kambosos, but a challenge that Kambosos would eventually triumph over. He stated, "Think George is in sensational shape, like the best shape I've seen him in years. Loma is an all-time great, but mark my words and hold me to this, I think people are going to be surprised by what a good fight it's going to be. I expect a great performance from George. Loma's a big hill to climb, but George is willing to fight the best, and he gives 110%. I think he's more prepared for this fight than in a long time." So, how did you react after watching this fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.